welcome everybody. Just the family got a piano last summer, and it's been an amazing experience learning how to play this thing. I went from knowing nothing about piano, could barely play a chord in progression. I could barely play a chord, but a chord progression, but getting a lot better at it, and it's really fun to play. I love this thing. It is out of tune. Got to get that thing tuned up. I mean, it's got a couple of like really dead keys. I mean, but it's a great piano, and I just really love having it around the house. The kids are enjoying it. The wife is enjoying it. It's nice having here in the home a home of music that we're gonna do. Uh, I'll probably do a stream from upstairs to show some of my other instruments up there. I've got guitars. I'm a trumpet player, so it's really neat. But anyway, welcome to a world of thoughts where faith and beliefs are sought from politics to God's embrace. We'll explore a life with everlasting grace. With family bonds and business dreams, together we'll embark on new themes. So join me now as I contemplate and welcome to a little show I call Thoughtscape. Yeah, so welcome guys. Yesterday I did a video, and it was my very first video. I didn't know what to call the show. I think I'm gonna call the show Thoughtscape. I ran it past my wife, and she seems to like it. Although, you know, not a lot of interest was shown in it, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be super popular right now. I know that I'm gonna be doing a lot just to kind of get this practice under my belt of just speaking into the world, speaking on camera, speaking to my phone, and just listening to myself, you know, on rewind, just to hear some of my thoughts out loud, and to kind of get some of the things that I'm thinking out loud. A lot of times, as guys, I think we just are in our own heads very, very deeply. That's why, like I mentioned in the last video, I'm doing a men's prayer group. The men's prayer group is so that men can have a place to be a little bit more vulnerable and talk about the things that are pressing. Like I said, a lot of times we just have our families to talk to that kind of stuff about. And half the time, if you're a married guy like me and you know, you see these people day in and day out, sometimes you can kind of miss each other's, you know, seriousness. You know, I don't necessarily take everything. That I'm sure Kara will tell me things sometimes, and you know, I'm not giving it the full attention that I need to give it because I'm so busy in my mind with so many things about how to support the family, how to move past a certain level of success that I'm at right now. Like I said, I wanted to become more successful. Got a little bit of an update about that. I have an old a person that I interviewed with a few like a year and a half back before I jumped to train from the builder I was previously with, and I was shopping myself around, and I had an interview with a pretty promising individual, and that interview fell through. And just recently he reached back out to me, and I was encouraged by that because you know, I'm trying to figure out you know, one thing that I think is important as you get you know, a little bit older and a little wiser, a little more experience under your belt, is to, you know, your job, and this is something that I read in Reframe Your Brain by Scott Adams. Your job is to find a better job, whether that's going to be, you know, me getting another job with another company where I feel like I'm a little bit more appreciated, where I can use a little bit more of my skills, value my little to value the company, or starting my own business, which I'm also trying to do. The last video I watched it over and I made a mistake with the name of the company, and just to show you how infantile this is right now, it is actually called Guardian Home Inspections, not Georgia Home Inspections. But that's just a small mistake. GHI, I thought it was a pretty good acronym. Guardian, meaning that you know, I care to guard. I kind of use my Christian, you know, background to help name that. Home inspections clearly is what I'm doing, but you know, a guardian, like a guardian angel, to help protect you and your investment. That's really what I'm aiming towards. And I've got a a motto written down, and it has to do with protecting you and your investment. Is really what it's all about. And I just had a really positive night last night with the family. We just kind of did our thing as a group. Really beautiful situation that I've got going here. Like I said, I've got a beautiful wife and four beautiful kids. We found out that we're going to be on my son is going to be on a soccer team with one of his good buddies from the homeschool co-op that my wife met through, like, another one of the parents there. That we're gonna have a really good time with that. Right now, we're in a co-op called Classical Conversations, and I really like this co-op. I think it's a really nice setup that they have. They meet at a church, which is really cool, and it's a boatload of kids that do this, and it's really interesting to see the progression from where my kids are now in basically first grade and preschool to some of the kids that are more in their high school years. These kids are so well spoken and really can converse with adults more so than you see any other teenager. I think that's one of the things that kind of gets me about this thing. I really want my kids to be able to speak not only to their age level but also be respectful towards adults. One thing that got me a little further ahead in life was not my grades for sure, because I didn't have great grades going through school. I was really all about playing trumpet and being, in that band and doing all the different band classes that I did. But one thing that got me through was being polite and having a great way of speaking with adults. And they seemed to really appreciate that I was very personable. And that's something I can say about my son Jonathan. He's extremely personable, and so is Carolyn and Evelyn. They're extremely personal people. They will walk up to you and just start having a conversation, and it's intelligible. It's not just silly conversation. Sometimes my son will get into very deep discussions, and I'll be amazed. I'll just be standing back and watching him talk. And of course, he does that with me and Kara. We have pretty deep conversations with our children, and it's really cool. Like that Reframe Your Brain book by Scott Adams. I've actually read some of those themes to him about the different reframes, and he seems to really understand. Not only does he understand it, but he actually enjoys it too. He understands that there's so much more to life than just La La Land world that they live in as children sometimes, and they're really starting to understand advanced concepts. I mean, I don't talk about stuff that's inappropriate to talk about with my children, like nothing sexual, nothing of like lewd nature or anything, but just concepts of maturity, being able to read the room. We had a discussion about that today. Understanding what certain people's emotions, understanding their own emotions, things like that. It's very important. But anyway, but yeah, so exciting news today about the soccer team. I'm very thrilled that my son is going to be on a soccer team this year with a good coach, with one of his friends. Like, starting off with one of his friends is going to be kind of cool. He's going to meet six other kids on that team, and I'm sure he'll make great friends with somebody there. He's a good kid, and he really makes kids really easy. And I'll tell you what, he's an 8U soccer. He's a 7-year-old, and we had evaluations for the soccer tryouts, basically, where the coaches evaluate the children, and then they go into a room and they draft the kids. I did that with Carolyn this last season with 6-year-old, between 4 and 6-year-old girls, and it's a really fun process when you're trying to pick kids that you thought did well, and you see some of your picks dwindling away, and you have to kind of make some decisions on the fly. It was really pretty cool. But he's going to do well. Last year he scored 10 goals in on a league where we only won, I think, one game last year out of 10, which is pretty disappointing. I was very disappointed that he didn't get on a team that at least did a little better. Really, what I hoped for was that someone other than me could teach him to play soccer, because the previous season I had coached his team, and we won 4 out of 10 games and tied 1, so we lost 5 total. I considered that a success, seeing as though I knew absolutely nothing about soccer going into this. I barely knew any of the rules. That's actually an overstatement. I didn't know any of the rules. Um, so I've learned a lot since then. My little man Jonathan, he understands a lot of the rules. He was very focused last year. Like when the ball would go out of bounds, he'd be able to tell you who it went out on. He would jump out of bounds sometimes to take the throw in or the pass in, whatever you call it. Let's show you how much I know about soccer. I mean, in America, if it wasn't baseball, football, basketball, you really didn't pay attention. Except now. Now, I mean, there's a lot of people that do soccer in the United States now. Probably thankful to its reach on television. But soccer is really a pretty cool sport. I never realized how neat it was until this last few seasons getting my kids involved. My wife is really not into baseball, and I don't blame her. It's a very slow game. Sitting around waiting for your kid to go up to bat. If he's in the outfield, you're worried about them. Uh, you know, I don't know what you worry about, but when they're in the outfield, I guess there's a lot more to watch. But when they're on offense, obviously you're just sitting there waiting for your kid to come up to bat. And then basketball, I'm no more than 5'6". I mean, I'm a shorter person, and my kids will probably be shorties too. Not that there's anything wrong with being short, in my personal opinion. I mean, it served me well all my life. I never had many problems with that at all. It's been a pretty good life. I mean, so what? I'm short. It doesn't matter. I'm not as short as some guys. There's guys out there far shorter than I am, which is it blows me away. I'm standing there looking at a man this tall. It's very odd to me. But I mean, the guys that are bigger than me. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, um, but uh, but yeah. Gosh, where was I at? But no, we're gonna have sports. Yeah. So and then football. I'm not really big into you know kids lining up against my kid and running into them head first as hard as they possibly can and concussing my children and possibly breaking limbs for just just out of trying to be tough. I understand that in soccer it can get pretty rough too, especially the older you get and the stronger these guys get. But I think that it's a sport that teaches them about their spatial recognition, knowing where they are on the field, passing, team play. The more of a team you can play the more you'll win, and that's true for most every sport that is a team sport. But I think especially in soccer you can really realize that more. But yeah, so I think it's really cool. Really excited about that. Um, I've got a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today, and mainly I really wanted to start this off with a heart of thankfulness. I really am thankful that we've got so many great things going on and that I'm able to do so many great things. With this job interview coming up, I'm not really sure, if I take that job interview, if I move on with it, or if I just keep the one that I'm in. The one that I'm in affords me a little bit more freedom. I'm able to really manage the way I think I should manage, especially with the home inspections that I do, the quality inspections that I do. It really is in line with what I kind of want to do as a business with Guardian Home Inspections. I'm going into homes, inspecting the places, making sure they're nice and tight, making sure they're clean, safe, and functional first off, but also making sure that the quality is high. Is high. The bar is high for quality. So I really am thankful that God's put in my heart, in my mind, a lot of great ideas. I think that the more I do this, possibly the more I'll be able to move forward and get a lot done. I think that I'm pretty bright and I've got a bright future ahead of me. And I'm filled with gratitude and the abundance of blessings. I mean, although I made less money than I made the previous years, and inflation really did start to eat up a lot of my cash flow. I'm still living a life of abundance. There are every once in a while, the kids will be sitting at the table and they'll be complaining about whatever meal they're eating because we don't really, sit around and eat a bunch of snacks. Especially recently, we've kind of cut out all the snacks and all the crackers and pretzels and things like that. We're really trying to make more home cooked meals. and we've really been on that for the past 7-8 years, but uh, more recently we've cut out even more carbs with sugar and crackers, pretzels, Cheez-Its, things like that. Just nonsense, just disgusting garbage that people put in their bodies on a daily basis. And so it really does kind of spoil the kids now, because now they're sitting there looking at like a plate of protein, like some eggs from the chickens outside, or some fresh ground beef, or like we'll make like broccoli, maybe some white rice and some hamburger meat, and the kids will sit there and pick at it. I mean, my son is an incredible eater. I think he's gonna be a pretty big kid, but the girls are super picky right now. But it could also just be their age. But they're mully grubbing about food. But it is what it is. But we still live abundantly. I've got a decent sized house. I mean, we're gonna grow out of it at some point in time. I'm in my house right now. This is the second half of the living room. There's another part of the living room over there, and then the kitchen's on the other side over there. We've got a 2-car garage, 4-bedroom house, 2.5 bathrooms. I mean, we just live an abundant lifestyle. It's beautiful. I've got 2 cars, even though they're beaters right now. I'm hoping that getting myself into that next income bracket can get it to where I can afford a more dependable car. Nothing fancy, but probably like a nice Ford Expedition or a Suburban or something like that would be good. If anybody out there wants to throw something my way, let me know in the comments. And if you made it this far in the video, give me a like, comment below. Let me know some of the things that I'm saying, if it resonates with you. I'm just trying to reach people in a big way. But yeah, just the family gives me so much joy. I don't think that I'd really need much else, especially when it comes to just anything extra. Anything extra would be great, and it would really help to enhance our life. Like if we could take some nice vacations, like I mentioned in the last video. I always think about going back to the Virgin Islands. When I was in the band, one of the bands that I was in, the group, we got to go out to St. Thomas and St. John Islands, and just the beauty of the islands were so incredible. The ocean was amazing. Nice still blue ocean that you could see straight through to the bottom. I remember on St. John there was a beach where the sand was just so crystal clear, and there was all these little gems just all over the place, and you could swim out and swim and see sea urchins and squid, and many types of little clownfish just in their wild. Go out there. I remember one of the natives there had a dog biscuit, where he'd just sell you a dog biscuit. You could go out and crumble it in the ocean, and tons of tropical fish would just come swarm and eat it. And I had a GoPro camera at the time that you could take underwater, and I got film of that, and it was really pretty neat, man. I mean, I just never had experienced anything like that on the state side of the United States. The Virgin Islands are British Isles, and they also have the U.S. Isles. But I'd love to go vacationing somewhere like that, just to show my kids, so they can enjoy the ocean in a amazingly good way, and see some beautiful islands, and see the wild chickens kind of running around all over the place, and the iguanas, and I mean, just the climate there is amazing and beautiful. Even when it rains there, I mean, it can get kind of scary, but it's actually just incredibly beautiful, especially if you have a little place on the mountain. As you get down into the valley, it's a little poorer. Certain demographic there. They're very. It's almost like almost like Jamaicans. But they, the people that live a pretty poor lifestyle, unless you're one of the richer people there that go there, and live there in one of the houses on the hills. But it's extremely expensive there too. I'll say that living there would be very difficult. Everything has to be imported there, because they don't really make a whole lot there on the island except for rum, and rum can be cheaper than water sometimes, to tell you the truth. But anyway, yeah, I'm grateful to live in a country where we can celebrate and worship Christ freely. Say what you want to, like I said in the last video about the federal government, but we really do live in one of the most blessed countries in the world. for Christianity, we can openly worship Jesus in the United States, and I don't think you can really, hope for a much more. Just got to check something in the oven here. I'm cooking some bread. I'm making homemade bread. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yeah, I'm making a homemade bread right there. Just another way to me try to uh, have some sustainability. The bread that we are currently served is basically poison in the United States and all over the world, really. But I'm trying to make my own bread so that we can enjoy that and not be poisoned by it. So in just a few minutes here, the alarm will go off. I'll just kind of set up here for now. Ignore the messiness in the back. Like I said, we got 4 kids living here. It's a very lived-in place, but like I said, we would have it no other way. You can kind of see my setup here. Yeah, it's not too bad. Not too bad, right? Not too bad for me. Coming from nothing, like I said in the last video, I had enough belongings to fit in the back of a pickup truck, and that would be pretty much it for forever for me for the longest time. And now I've got a full house and on a piece of land that I'm proud of, and doing okay. So we'll give this 30 more seconds here, and that'll be done. And then I'll pull it out. You guys can see my bread here. It's really just a simple recipe. I mean, I know that many people know how to make bread, but just some fast rising dry yeast with some unbleached flour, more of an organic brand, and then some sea salt and hot water. And that's what goes in the bread. You look at bread recipes on the back of the bread package, and there's like 50 ingredients. Well, if you made bread, on your own, you realize you don't need 50 ingredients. You just need a few. 3, and there's a loaf of bread. Just made that. I made that. It took me like next to no effort to make that right there. So we'll let that sit and cool, and that'll be good. That'll be good. My plan is to try to make, one of these a day, and until we get enough bread stocked up that we don't need to make tons of bread. But this is what I'd rather us eat than, the garbage from the store. I mean, you look at the bread from the store. Here's the Sara Lee honey wheat, and we're not perfect at this yet. We're still trying real hard to get ourselves to a point where we can do a lot of this stuff on our own. But the ingredients, it's just unbelievable. I mean, what is half of this stuff? What is half of this stuff? Nobody knows. What's niacin? What's thiamine? What's mononitrate? Vitamin B1. Okay, I know what that is. But riboflavin and uh, just folic acid. Wheat gluten. I guess that's okay, but I don't know. Soybean oil. We know that's bad. Preservatives. I don't want all that. I don't want all that. So, working hard to try to get ourselves out of that bad habit that I think we've been into since we were children. I'm 43 years old. Growing up in the 80s, you get a package of Sunbeam bread and pop it in the toaster and, put some jelly on it, probably Smucker's preserves and, margarine and all these other things. And we're just trying to get away from that as far as we can, as fast as we can. So anyway, yeah, I already talked about being excited about the soccer season. There's that. Looking forward to serving. Oh, so yesterday I got a message from our worship leader. I will be singing once again at church this Sunday. I'm excited about that. We have to get up pretty early for that. Usually I'll take one of my older kids, Carolyn or Jonathan, with me to the rehearsal so they can see Daddy up there on stage going through the rehearsals and being there at church early and just having the culture in life where we go to church. and where we're intentional about serving the Lord in the best way possible. And we've got a good church. There's nobody in there that weirds me out. There's nobody in there who, I'm worried about. We've got a security team there with a few guys and girls that, are vigilant security people. We've got a good children's ministry. I trust them there. I trust our pastor. I've started the men's group there. We got the discipleship program, and we're just rolling along. We're doing a good thing there, and the worship ministry is really nice. Got a nice young guy and his wife that lead it. They don't have any kids yet, but they're still pretty young. But they are a good example of energy and just the posture of worship. And I really enjoy doing that. So I got a message yesterday asking me to do that again, and so I accepted. As many as I told them at the end of last year that they could use me in any capacity they wanted to use me for worshiping. Tonight I have a sales meeting with some guys from Joseph 19 Roofing. That's roofing sales, where you go door to door and you try to provide the service of a roof inspection, and then if you can find enough damage on their roof that would warrant filing a claim with their insurance company, we're trying to help people do that, and it's lucrative, but it's also a good service, and I really do believe that getting people, no one's looking on the roof. Generally, your average home buyer isn't taking a ladder and walking the roof to find wind or hail damage. And, we get some pretty windy days here in Georgia, and get a lot of storm damage. There's tornado seasons and stuff like that. And people will often go years and years and years without repairing their roof or doing anything or filing insurance claim on it. And a lot of insurance companies will just pay for the roof. And that's actually a beautiful thing. And so the customers will, be living in their house for 10, 15 years, have a 30-year mortgage. If they wait that full 30 years, generally your shingles are going to wear out within that 20-year span, maybe sooner, depending on the weather damage. And the next thing you know, you've got a bad roof. And God knows it's a lot of money to replace a roof. So tonight we'll be going to that meeting. I'm super stoked about that. Friday I'm supposed to do evening. I'm going to do a ride around, go knock on some doors. Battery's dying. Go knock on some doors, see some people, meet with the owner of the company, and powwow with him a little bit. That should be fun. I'm super excited about that. Let's see here. Opportunities that came my way. Yeah, I'm just grateful for all the different opportunities coming my way. The possibility of making a higher salary or some negotiating power with my current employer. As it is right now, insurance is expensive. I can't afford the insurance for the company for myself and my wife, so we're kind of roughing it right now, even though insurance is a complete scam. But we're gonna, I'm gonna take this interview with this other company, and hoping to get an offer letter. Depending on what that offer letter says, will depend on what I do with my job career, working for another person career. I'm really hoping to be able to keep my current job and just negotiate for a higher wage. That would really help out. It'd be nice to be able to afford the insurance. So yeah, I just I pray that God grants me with the ability to negotiate for that higher salary. And then I just gotta pray that God helps me with my discipline. Going to bed early, getting enough rest, eating right, getting enough sleep, getting enough exercise. I went to the gym yesterday and I really worked my legs, and man, my legs are super sore today. But I'm getting stronger every time I go to the gym. I'm either able to do more repetitions on heavier weight or go up in weight, depending on what I'm lifting. But yeah, I'm doing some pretty heavy lifting right now for me. I think I'm probably lifting the most weight I've ever lifted. And I started at pretty pathetic beginning, going from not working out in probably 2 years to jumping back into the gym, a full gym with, all sorts of weights and machines. And it's really been awesome. I'm so glad to be back in the gym. I feel great, even though I'm super sore. It feels good to feel sore. It lets you know that there's a sense of satisfaction there. So anyway, I hope this inspired somebody today. That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to do this to inspire myself, inspire other people, other men out there who are looking to be Christian men with a family, starting their own business. Like I'm starting from nothing. I'm trying to let you guys in on the process with me. I'll be studying today a little bit more for Guardian Home Inspection to become certified as a home inspector, even though you don't really need that in Georgia. I still want to have that education under my belt so that I'm more equipped and more kind of agile as a business person and knowing what I'm doing and being able to answer questions and things like that. So I'm going to end this with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for my blessing of my mind with great and wonderful ideas. I'm filled with gratitude for the abundance of blessings in my life, especially for my amazing family. My wife, Kara, and our children bring me immense joy, Lord, and are worth every effort I put into our relationship. I'm also grateful for the freedom to openly worship Christ Jesus as my Lord and Savior in the country that I live in. I'm excited about the upcoming soccer season for my son and daughter. It is a privilege to coach my daughter's team and witness their growth on the field. I'm just so excited about that, guys. I can't even express it. Thank you so much, Lord. I'm also looking forward to serving and using my talents as part of the worship team at church this Sunday. It is a wonderful opportunity for me to praise and worship you, Lord. Thank you, God. Tomorrow night, I have a sales meeting with Joshua 19 Roofing, and I'm filled with anticipation. That's actually tonight. Thank you, God. I'm grateful for the opportunities that come my way, and I pray for guidance as I consider a potential job offer in the home building industry. Help me make the best decision for my career, and if it aligns with your will, grant me the ability to negotiate a higher salary with my current employer, please, Jesus. I trust in your wisdom to navigate these choices. Lord, I ask for your help in managing my time effectively. Grant me the discipline and motivation to study for my certification in my personal business, Guardian Home Inspections. I seek your wisdom and guidance in every aspect of my life. Thank you for the blessings you have bestowed upon me. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, guys. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button. Um, Send me some comments. Let me know what I can do to make this better. I'm sure it's a lot. Like I said, hopefully, the previous video, I'll get my production value up. Right now, money's tight, so it'll probably just be the iPhone for now. And it takes a long time, by the way, to upload these to YouTube. 30-minute video takes a long time to upload, so maybe there's a different way for me to do that. Maybe you can help me. Somebody out there, please. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. Love you guys. It's awesome to be doing this. Hopefully, I'm reaching some hearts and minds. Peace.